Hello internet! So today we're going to be testing whether the Bluetooth output is different between different devices. Last week we tested to see if it was different with, using auxiliary. So I just think it's going to be interesting because obviously more people use Bluetooth and most of the people online have gone, no one uses auxiliary, so can you do a Bluetooth video? So we're doing a Bluetooth video and Martin's back again. So the keen-eyed among you will notice that this time we're using a different head unit. This one is a Pioneer something thing that has Bluetooth on it. So that'll do. Special thanks go to Mark Gray for lending me this head unit because I don't have one that has Bluetooth on it, and if I do, it's in the car. So this is Mark. Thanks, Mark. F off now. Now we have the joys of working out where Bluetooth is on this thing. So Bluetooth. Mark, this hasn't got Bluetooth on it, you idiot. Now I've got to pull the one out of the Audi. Right, Mark. We're set up now. So whilst the setup has changed, yes, we've got a different head unit, and yes, we've got a different amp. This time we're going to be using a Sundown SAE 600D. We are using the same YouTube video, and it doesn't really make a difference that these things have changed because we're comparing things to each other, so it'll be fine. So on the head unit, we're going to stick it at volume 25 for all the tests. All of the phones are going to be absolutely maxed out. On the oscilloscope, we have 5-volt divide. And we're going to keep it down a bit lower this time so we can actually get clean waves out of everything. So you've got 5, 10, 15 and 20 volts up and down, and then obviously we'll have the readout in the bottom corner here. We're starting first with the Samsung Galaxy S7. We've got 9.66 volts through the Bluetooth. Next up we've got the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, volume 25 as said. The amp has not been touched. Up full. Wow, let's go off the screen. So we're at 20 volts for the Huawei. So that confirms it does make a difference what phone you use as to how strong the Bluetooth output is. That's pretty amazing. So far it looks like the Huawei has over doubled the amount of Bluetooth output that the Samsung S7 gave. Next up, Martin's preparing the iPhone 11.
Again, adjust your volume. There we go. Volume's all the way up.
Next on the bench, we've got the iPhone 11 MaxiPad Saucepan Super Pro. Turned all the way up. Setting 11.3 volts. 11.2, 11.3, something like that. Next on the agenda, we've got the iPad Pro, finding the volume button because they're all bloody different. And we are up completely full. 40 Hz is playing. 40 Hz is not showing. Bloody Apple products there. Everything else works flawlessly. Everything Android, just fine. Right, take two. Let's see if this is going to work. Volume up. Maxed out. Ooh, there we go. Lovely. So for the iPad Pro, we have 11.26 volts. Interesting. There was a big difference, I remember, between those when we did them through the auxiliary, but through Bluetooth, the iPhone and the iPad are identical. Last on the list, we've got the Samsung Galaxy Tab with volume completely up full. We've got 40 Hz. That will come through any second now. You've got 11.3 volts. So because the iPad Pro on the Bluetooth was so different to the iPad Pro on the auxiliary lead, what we're now going to do is just back-to-back test it. So we're going to do the exact same test, but with an auxiliary lead plugged in to see if that difference is still there because we're using a different head unit. I just want to eliminate all variables to see if why there's such a difference. Martin, shut up! Trying to make a video.
Advert.
Jesus Christ.
Right, all the way up.
Auxiliary, volume 25. Right, iPad auxiliary test. So for reference, remember 11.2 volts on the Bluetooth. Volume up full once again. And then 4 volts. Wow. Okay. So what that now means is that we have to do it all again, but with the auxiliary on this head unit and this setup, so we can see how big the difference is between everything. Thanks, Internet, for suggesting this.
Got the woggle.
This is good. I've got a woggle.
I got the woggle.
Right, so next we're going to retest the Samsung Galaxy Tab, which was at 11.3 last time. Let's have a quick look. Whoa, oh my god. 2.0 volts. And we're not joking, we're still on volume 25. The amp hasn't been changed, and these things are still absolutely maxed out. So over Bluetooth, the Samsung Galaxy Tab had 11.3 volts, and it's at 2. That's a hell of a drop. Okay, so next we're doing the iPhone 11 Take 2 via auxiliary with 11.2 before. This time,
I'll press play then.
if you could, that'd be great. Wow! 1.8 volts. That's amazing. 2.0 volts. The last one we're going to test is the Huawei, but realistically, if this is going to be a roughly reliable test, we should be expecting roughly double. So we should be expecting at least 4, maybe even 5 volts from the Huawei, if this is going to be a fairly accurate test. Truth for the Huawei. Yeah, we have 6 volts. Oh my god, the output on that thing's amazing. 6.5 volts. Well, there we have it. We've got massive differences between the 5 of them. So it looks like if your phone is set up for an iPhone 11, a Samsung Tab, or a Galaxy S7, you're fine to plug your mate's phone in. But good God, stay away from anyone with a Huawei. And an iPad Pro is really not that much better either. What? That doesn't really make any sense to me. Just one final thing. I'm going to plug a sub in, and we're going to watch how much the sub moves between the auxiliary lead and the Bluetooth. Auxiliary into head unit. My face in the mirror. Oh, that's weird. Hey! The exact same test. Auxiliary. Volume 25. Oh my god. No way! It's great. So Internet, in answer to your question, is it different between auxiliary and Bluetooth? Yes, massively.
Very much so.
Now, don't get me wrong, there is a factor like my lead isn't the greatest lead, but I think that's really the only thing that's going to be hugely different. And to cause that much of a difference between the two, when both phones were, all of the phones, sorry, were completely maxed out, use Bluetooth. Makes more sense. Thank you, Mark, for coming along again. Fuck you, Mark Gray, for giving me a bad head unit.
Mark Gray wasted half an hour. You owe me half hour now.
All the best. Subscribe to the channel. We'll do more things. Hi.
Bye.